Hello there, and welcome to In My Opinion 4, Mortal Kombat 11.
Set right after the last game, a much darker and strict Raiden has teamed up with Earth's special forces to launch an attack on the undead Liu Kang and Katana. After a successful attack, all seems well until a new face shows up named Kronika, the Keeper of Time. She feels this timeline is unbalanced and wishes to fix this by erasing this timeline and making a brand new one. So she teams up with undead Liu Kang and Katana and even brings both heroes and villains from times past to do so. Now it's up to Earth's special forces to put a stop to her plans. The story itself is decent at best, since there are some scratch your head moments and some plot points feel random and or pointless. Don't worry, I won't spoil the specifics, just giving you a heads up. The positive side, which still made it enjoyable, is we get a ton of awesome looking action scenes that at least show off our heroes kicking ass, and some entertaining character interactions. So yeah, that's what you're here for. Mortal Kombat is a fighter. Yeah, I know by part 11 this shouldn't need to be said, but hey, this is someone's first Mortal Kombat. You got your punch, kicks, jumps, and uppercuts as usual. Though some things have been changed. X-rays are out, and what replaces them are fatal blows. This serves the same purpose as X-rays, which was doing an awesomely violent looking move to help you come back, though it's handled differently. In order to perform a fatal blow, you must be near death, and the game will let you know when it's doable. If you miss, it won't go away, so you can give it another shot. However, to balance it out, this can be only done once per match. So you gotta figure out if you want to use it for the first round to be ahead, or keep it safe for a last ditch effort in the final round. Another change to the fighting is crushing blows, which are little visual devastating attacks that can be triggered when you complete certain situations. So there are some that is do a move X amount of times, or perform this attack as a punish to the opponent, and so on. Doing these are a big help because not only does it do extra damage, but some of them can pop an opponent in the air, allowing for a little combo to follow. However, to balance it out, just like the fatal blows, these can only be done once per match. You also may have noticed the bars here are different from the past MK games, as now they have separate ones. It's 2 for defense and 2 for attack, so using an enhanced special move uses up 1 attack bar. Using the environment to hop around or attack uses a defense bar. Using the ability to cancel out of a juggle will use 2 defense bars, and so on. Good thing is these are constantly recharged, so you don't have to worry about being asked out when used. You just gotta figure out when and how to use them to your advantage. The combat here feels very different than Mortal Kombat X, and I personally enjoy it more. The characters have more weight to them, and it's not as fast paced as X, as there is no run button. Also, combos don't seem to be as big of a focus as it was in X. I mean, they are still here, but it doesn't feel like it's a live or die situation, and it's more about your placement on the battleground and finding openings. I think the best way I could describe it is a more updated Mortal Kombat 2. I like the additions of crushing blows and fatal blows, as they add another layer of depth to the core combat and let you play some mind games. It also helps I find both of these nicely balanced, and if you try just to whiff them, you will be punished. The extra bars as well are a welcome addition, as it does give you some more options in your defense game. The 24 character roster can be hit or miss for some people, as some fan favorites like Reptile, Melina, and Ermac are missing. But I personally found the roster here a bit better than X. I also like the fact that it seems to be a good amount of brutalities that don't have the insane clear conditions like X had, so there's more of a chance of you pulling them off. One of the things that they bring back from classic MK is the mercy function, which after you beat your opponent, you can give them a tiny bit of health back to give them a chance to win again. This is solely here to make the other player feel bad after you just stomp them out, which is a good or bad thing depending on what side you're standing on. Now on to the single player content, which there is tons of. First, there's a story mode, which is about 12 chapters long and lets you touch most of the hero side of the cast to get a little taste. There's even moments when you're a team and you can pick who you want to fight as. It's about 3 hours long, and you can replay any of the fights so you can pick other characters in the team ups to see the different dialogue, which is pretty neat. Next place where you will be spending a good amount of time is the Towers of Time. Here you can take on tower fights that give your opponent special modifiers like having a missile attack, or slowing you down, or calling in for help, and much more. There's even towers where you gotta take down a tag team, and there's even summoning towers where you can use tower keys, which you can earn here or the crypt to make themed towers pop up. For example, using a shimmering stone lets you summon a tower where you can earn a lot of coin. Now when the game launched, all these towers were ridiculously unfair and straight up frustrating, especially with how much modifiers the opponent got. But they have tweaked it since launch to make it less painful. I mean, there was even a point where your opponent wouldn't even take near the same amount of damage as you, even making your fatal blows feel pointless. Most of these towers are only around for a limited time and get refreshed by new ones. But if you miss out on a tower, don't worry, since it usually comes around again. Luckily, each tower lets you know what rewards you'll be fighting for, such as currency and coins, souls, or hearts. You can even earn consumables, which are basically modifiers for you, and you can even get brand new brutalities. There's also cosmetics, pieces of gear, and augments you can earn as well. After you take down a tower, you unlock its brutal difficulty, in which you can earn some extra rewards for the same fight, but the AI is much harder, and when you lose there's no retry fight and you gotta start the tower over. If you're looking for stuff for a specific character, you can use your coin to bring up a character specific tower, which rewards you with new brutalities, gear, cosmetics, and more. You're able to do this with each character 5 times, and don't worry, these are not timed like the other towers. In fact, let's say you pay for one but quickly change your mind and want to try another character instead. You can do so and you don't have to repay for the last one you didn't do. What makes this a tiny bit different than the other towers is some of these towers have a certain condition to clear before you can fight, such as do X amount of uppercuts, spill X amount of blood, win X amount of matches, all with said character. The game will count the amount of times you do it in any of the towers, even the normal ladder towers. These also used to be batshit insane when the game first launched, but has been tweaked a lot. For example, do 50 grabs went down to do 25 grabs. Now, I did mention gear and cosmetics, which brings us to the next mode, which is customization. Here you can pick any of the characters and change up their looks with the gear and cosmetics you unlock. In cosmetics, we got some skins you can pick that come in like 5 different designs and many different color variations. You can even pick what intro and victory animation you want. Gear comes in the form of 3 pieces to set outfit, so for example, Jade has her mask, fan, and Poe that you can change separately. And what's great is even before you unlock a piece of gear or cosmetic, you can preview how it will look, and the game even tells you where it can be earned. Also, as you use each piece of gear, they level up, which lets you take the augments you've been earning and stick them in. These can upgrade defense against certain elemental attacks or even earn you more currency. You can also equip what extra abilities you want for this loadout, which works like variations in Mortal Kombat X. Each ability has a number value to it, be it 1 or 2, and you can only fit moves that amount to 3. I'm guessing to balance it out. You can even name your variation and put an icon to give it that little personal touch. You're allowed to make 5 different variations, which allows you to experiment without having to constantly change one of them. The next mode you'll be spending a ton of time in is the Crypt. After a little introduction to a changed song that looks and sounds familiar to longtime fans, you are left to explore the island all you want. This is hands down the best designed crypt in Mortal Kombat history. The third person view lets the character move much more fluidly than the old way, which makes you feel like a first person tank. The place also looks great and is full of locations that will make you go, holy shit, I remember this. You do run into a little puzzle here and there to keep you busy, and they ain't all too bad. There's even death traps that will kill you in many gruesome ways, but it doesn't take anything from you, so it's fun to watch and not frustrating at all. You also find little pieces of equipment to help you proceed and unlock new areas like Scorpion Spear. Now, besides the sights, you also get to unlock stuff like more gear, cosmetics, brutalities, and so on by opening chests that can cost the 3 types of currency I mentioned before. What sucks is besides the Shao Kahn chest and the fire chest, all the other chests are filled with random items, and with a roster so big, you most likely won't be getting the stuff you want for your preferred characters. Like a lot of the other issues I mentioned in this game, when this launched, the prices were super high for a chest. But they fixed it up since then, and now you're able to get these nice rewards much faster. Some other examples of improvements was the severed heads you can earn while playing, which would open a new area. It used to be that you would have to perform 50 fatalities on one character to get their head, but they thankfully changed it to only 25. The only currency that's kind of a pain to build up is souls, as you don't get too much and each soul chest is 100 a pop. It also doesn't help that one of the items you get, which is a blindfold to see invisible chest, eats up souls as well, which makes no sense. You can refill all the chests in the crypt by paying some coin, but that mainly fills them with consumables than all the other stuff you actually want. The only refill that's worth a double check is the soul chest. Okay, those were the big modes for single player, but there is still some other stuff you got. Like the normal classic towers, let you pick which one you want to do, be it short or long. Completing these will give you the character's ending as well. There's also a survival or endless tower if you want to give that a try. You got your usual versus and practice and fatality practice. There's even a very in-depth tutorial mode that not only teaches you the basics of the game, but even some of the fighting game community lingo. This is one of the best fighting game tutorials I've seen since Skullgirls, and they also give you rundowns of how each character plays and some suggestions of how to use them. There's also a premium shop which lets you use some of those time crystals you've been earning. Here you can basically buy any of the goodies in the game offers, but these are completely random and rotate after a certain amount of time has passed. Lastly, there's AI fights where you pick a 3-man team to take on other players' online 3-man team to see who wins. You can customize each character's AI settings in the customization menu. This nets you some rewards, win or lose, with winning giving you the better rewards. But even though you can do as much as you want, you can only earn rewards 5 times a day. Speaking of AI, you can use the same AI for any of the other towers in the game. So if you want to grind a bit for currency or maybe a certain condition for the character towers without playing, you can. Now for the online, which you can do the usual hubbub. There's casual matches where you can just find a random match or join in a room and challenge anyone to a brawl as much as you like. You can make or join a King of the Hill room where you give out respect points to the winner as you fight to take and keep the top spot. You can even emote while in the room while watching the match. There's also moments in the Towers of Time where you can take on a boss version of a character who's insanely tough and even gets help from the environment. These fights are either tag-in fights where you and a partner can tag in and help one another, or it can be a one-by-one situation where the game gives you power-ups to assist the players who's fighting for their lives. The only negative about this is, yes, while you can invite a friend before a match so you and they can take on the boss, you can't join a room and then invite them. This blows since sometimes you need that third person for help, and for you and a friend to play with a random, you gotta search at the same time and hope for the best. This is more jarring since something like King of the Hill lets you invite a friend while in the room. If you're wondering if augments affect your fights online, the answer is no, as they only take effect during single player. Of course there's rank as well, though one thing I hate about it is the game gives you preset variations for this. This is fucking stupid as a character you like may have a crappy setup compared to the one you're used to. I know some people are saying, oh, it's for balance, which I say is BS. As I said, variations have a number amount, so it's not like you can just put anything in your custom version, and as long as the game shows the players the loadout to one another, then you have a good idea of what you're in for. If you're thinking, well, how about they have a loadout I've never seen? Here's a tip: adapt. It's no different from playing a fresh face who may have a different playstyle and uses a character you're not used to. Since I'm doing this review pretty late, they have since kind of morphed rank matches with what's called Kombat League. These are events that track your wins and losses and gives you some goodies. You get these goodies by doing little challenges and also by reaching a certain rank. And what's kind of neat is if you reach a rank but then start losing a lot and drop it, you still get whatever reward that was in your highest rank when the event has ended. What sucks is, again, all of this is rank match rules, and as I explained, rank kind of sucks. Well, this game looks fantastic with its varied arenas and of course high detail violence, blood, and gore. You know, the staple of any Mortal Kombat game. The graphical jump from X is very obvious, especially in the fatalities, which show a great amount of detail as you rip apart your opponent. Though I will say I'm kinda indifferent with the whole slow-mo part at the end of the fatalities, which seems to take a bit from Injustice 2. Again, not bad, but not really a fan of it either. Even the fatal blows, which are not ending your opponent's life, look super brutal and detailed. The much quicker brutalities, while not visually in depth, still leave an impact and make you go, oh shit, that looks painful, and some even harken back to the older Mortal Kombat fatalities. When it comes to voice work, mostly everyone sounds fantastic, with Johnny being a personal favorite. Now, what makes me say mostly is Ronda Rousey as Sonya Blade. I mean, sweet Jesus, she sounds so stiff with her delivery, and the great cast makes her stand out more. Why not just hire an actual voice actor?
Starring in yet another Ninja Mime sequel isn't what I'd call duty.
I need to provide for you in the manner to which you've become accustomed.
Jeez, guys, I'm right here.
Now, the big thing that a lot of people were annoyed about was the female designs, and I get it. I mean, I'm a man who enjoys his cheesecake as well, and I will say I like some of the previous game designs more, but I still feel everyone here, including the guys, have some great designs, except for some really bad costume choices a la Cassie Cage. Why is she in a robot suit? I honestly think the controversy wouldn't have been as bad if not for some schmuck in NetherRealm Studios that said the reason they went with these designs is because they were trying to be more realistic with the outfits, and the previous outfits don't make sense. Hey numbnuts, this is a franchise based on being over the top and violent. There was even a point where a riot cop turned into a T-Rex and ate people. Basically, this person missed the whole point of what Mortal Kombat is, and should have just kept shut and it wouldn't have turned out so bad. The game runs smooth like butter, and I didn't run into any glitches really. The most problematic thing I ran into was some laggy matches during rank fights. Besides the messy currency, balance issues, and crit problems which they are fixing little by little, I still can say I had a blast with this game and find it a vast improvement over X. It looks beautifully gory, and for me the roster is pretty damn good even though it's missing some fan favorites. While the story is only about 3 hours long, I found myself still coming back for more and spending up to 48 hours of game time, with a big piece of that being single player.
Most of the replay value will come from doing the Towers of Time, unlocking characters' endings, clearing the crypt, and online. So yeah, you got yourself a chunky game here. This is another entry to the franchise that's worth screaming Mortal Kombat! So go out there and enjoy all the violence. I hope you enjoy my thoughts in this game, and for gamers' sake, keep gaming.